Hey, hey, so excited to be back at you. It is number 7 of 11 ways to live your life like a badass. I mean, who doesn't want to live like a badass, right? And I just want to clarify that living like a badass does not mean that you're walking around middle finger in the air trying to prove someone wrong. What it does mean is that you are so solid in who you are that you never have to apologize. You don't live your life by everybody else's rules. You are respectful, but you are also so confidently unique. That's how I define a badass. And I wanted to talk about living like a badass through being committed to feeling the feelings. Now, I am not going to lie. This is one principle that probably gives me the biggest challenge because let me tell you what, when I would feel feelings, it was like I would got forced on a really terrible roller coaster, strapped down to that seat, and my only defense was to close my eyes and pretend that I was somewhere else and suppress those feelings of fear and frustration and anxiety and sadness and whatever that roller coaster of emotions had in store for me. I became brilliant at not even acknowledging that I had been put on a roller coaster. I would ignore them. I would suppress them. I would bypass them. I would emotionally eat them away to numb them. I would try to out exercise them. I was brilliant at doing everything I could do to not feel the feels. And this is one commitment that I've really made myself to the last year, through the last year, that has made a huge difference in the way that I truly feel as a human. And the concept that made a big difference for me was picture a Thanksgiving dinner where you've invited the whole family because you love your family. You don't always love every single family member, and you don't always get along with every single family member every single second, but you recognize how important that family unit is. And you have so much value in inviting everybody to the table for that meal. And it's just like feelings, right? Like you are the Thanksgiving table, you are the host of that party, and all of your feelings get to be invited to the table, no matter how uncomfortable or irritating or weird they are. You invite all your feelings to the table and you give them a place to have a voice. And what I've learned by doing that is that every single feeling is some sort of a warning system that is trying to tell me that my perspective is a little left of center. And oftentimes, feelings have a message for me, they have a lesson for me. They're pointing out an imbalanced perspective, or they're pointing out a story that just isn't true. And when I learned to embrace them, one of the things that I did was actually a journaling activity. And you can go ahead and judge me as dorky for this, but let me tell you what, it really worked. I became pen pals with my emotions. When I was feeling pissed off, I would get out my pen and paper. And as a matter of fact, this is not past tense. I actually still practice this. Um, and I just say, hey, angry, you're invited to the table and you have a voice. I'm listening. What do you need me to know? And then I would pretend I was writing back from the anger's perspective. And holy moly, was that powerful? Because what I learned was what those emotions were trying to tell me. What I learned was the juicy lesson that was in store for me because I chose to listen to that emotion and I leaned in a little bit and I got curious. And you know what happened? I learned some things I didn't know before. And oftentimes, all it took was acknowledging that feeling and asking what it's there to teach me and committing to feeling it all the way through. And then it was gone. I didn't have to deal with that freaking volcano of angry at the wrong straw that finally broke that camel's back, if you know what I mean. Right? Because my old pattern was really just suppressing angry and pretending I wasn't angry and thinking everything was okay and putting my damn mask on. And then all of a sudden, something seemingly completely tiny, that straw that would break the camel's back, that seemingly nothing issue would cause a massive blow up volcano that was totally inappropriate. Like, right, the size of the issue versus the size of the reaction was tenfold. And that was because I hadn't acknowledged all the other things that had made me angry, and that volcano was just waiting to blow. So really stepping into the badassery of your life and being really secure in who you are. Also, it comes with a commitment to get comfortable with feeling your feelings. There's a great book recommendation. It's called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. It is more geared towards like executives and business people who are leading teams. But when you can read that book through the lens of being your own executive, and how do those concepts, those commitments to consciously lead yourself, when you look at it through that lens, you learn a whole lot more. And there is a commitment in that book. It's commitment to feeling the feelings. And I learned a lot from reading that commitment. And by the way, I read that more than one time. And so if you're looking for a good read on feeling the feels, I would say that is probably one of them. The other one of them is Dr. Anderson's teachings. He is the coach that created the amazing program that I leverage. And we talk a lot about navigating your own emotions. So if that piques your interest, ask me, because we actually have a free Facebook group in which we've taught some of these techniques and these strategies in past workshops, and the recordings are still available. So if you want to deep dive into living your life like a badass through learning to being committed to feeling your feelings, let me know. Put hashtag me in the comments or send me a private message or whatever makes sense for you, and I will connect you to that free resource. It is freaking awesome. I love you guys so much. Until next time, much love.